So if you've been watching my videos for the last few weeks or anything on the news for the last few weeks, you'll know that they've changed a bunch of rules as it pertains to buying real estate around the country. And with those new rules, there's going to be a lot of agents that you need to look out for that are doing cut rate business because either they don't know a lot or they're brand new or whatever the reason may be. But now more than ever is the time that you need to make sure you have a good agent. And that brings me to a story for this week's video. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how a bad agent can cost you a ton of money. So if you're looking to buy a house here in Montana, if you're not paying with cash or doing a conventional loan, a lot of people choose to use the government loans, which are great loans, and they are an FHA, a VA, or an RD loan, and we see those all the time around here. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of times people don't understand the rules about these loans, and they can get in a lot of trouble if they don't understand the rules, and more so if their agent doesn't understand the rules of these loans. And like I said, these loans are great because usually they're a little bit lower interest rates, and most of the time they have a way lower down payment amount, so they often are used by first-time home buyers or people that are, don't have tons of money to put 20% down on a conventional loan. So that part of the loan program is great. But here's where you need to be careful. These types of loans require the homes to be in very good shape at closing. And when I say at closing, let me explain. So normally when you buy a house, you will go look at the house with your agent, and then you decide you want to put in an offer. So you make that offer, and if the buyer or if the seller accepts that offer, then it goes, as they say, under contract. Well, at that point, I'm sure your agent has put in an inspection contingency, and so you're going to hire an inspector, and inspectors around here are going to be between $400 and $500. It depends on the size of the house. They can be more, they sometimes could be a little less, but it's $400 or $500 you're going to spend to do an inspection. After the inspection, your lender is going to have an appraiser go out there, and if it's one of these government loans, they have to look for certain things and make sure, like I said, that the house is in almost perfect condition. It cannot be a fixer-upper with these types of loans. So the appraiser is going to look at some things that maybe the inspector didn't. The inspector is going to probably look at more than the appraiser. He's going to go up in the attic and check for mold and anything like that. So what the appraiser is going to be looking for on these types of loans is a lot of it has to do with safety of the house. So if you're inside the house and there's no railing on the staircase, they're going to call that out. If there's any loose wires sticking out of the wall where they didn't finish an outlet or something, they're going to call that out. Some of the bigger things that these appraisers are going to call out are going to be the roof. If the roof is only a couple years left on its lifespan, they're going to call that out. I've had a deal where, they said, well, until you get a new roof, you can't get the loan on this house. We're not going to allow you to close on it. At that point, it's up to the seller whether he's willing to fix it or not. The other thing that we see a lot is if a house was built before 1978 and there's peeling paint on it, it doesn't matter if they painted it 10 years ago. If the house was built in the 60s and it is now, the paint is peeling, they're going to automatically call that out as lead-based paint. So any homes that were built before 1978, if they have peeling paint, no matter when it was painted, they're going to call that out. And so you may have to paint the entire house, again, before closing. So if this happens in winter, sometimes they'll give you a pass as long as you have a receipt showing you've paid and scheduled a painter to come out in the springtime. But they will call this out, and this is something you have to look out for. Another thing they call out quite a bit is if the foundation has cracks in it. Some of these older houses, they'll settle and they'll get cracks in the foundation, and I'm not talking little tiny cracks, but if you see some big ones like this, the severity of the crack, they can call these out as well. And when I say they can call these out, here's what happens when you're in this situation. Now you've already spent $400 to $500 on an inspector, and now the appraisal prices here for these types of appraisals are about $875. So now you're up at $1,300 that you've already spent on this house, and you're gambling that the seller is going to agree to fix this stuff. If he doesn't agree to fix it, too bad. You know, he doesn't have to fix it. And if it's a, you know, decent priced house in a good neighborhood, he's probably got other people waiting or other offers, he's going to say no. And unfortunately for you as a buyer, and if your agent doesn't know enough to point these things out, you're now out $1,300. At least you've got your little free souvenir inspection report from a house you're never going to live in. But I don't know a lot of people that want to spend $1,300 on a house that they don't get. And again, a lot of times the seller, you know, they will agree to fix these things, but maybe they don't have any money either. They could say, well, hey, I'd love to fix the roof, but I can't afford it. Or, you know, repaint the house or fix the foundation, whatever it may be. The seller is in the driver's seat at this point, and he doesn't have to do anything. This is where you really need to make sure your agent knows what they're doing, and really make sure you give a thorough check of the house before you even make an offer, because if you spot these things and you have one of these types of loans and you know it's going to be called out, well, then you have to decide if you're even going to go down the road of making an offer before you maybe question the other agent a little bit and ask if the buyer or the seller's willing to make any of these fixes, because once again, who wants to be out $1,300? Once the appraiser goes out there, that's your bill, whether you buy the house or not. So keep that in mind and make sure you do a good job of picking an agent. And if you're looking for places around here, I would be happy to help you. If you're in a different area watching this video, I can refer you. I work with people all over the state and basically all over the country, so I can get you a good agent no matter where you are.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.